Hi, welcome to Undead Yarn. My name is Heidi. This is episode 97. We're getting close to 100, y'all. And you can find me as Nitty Girl on Ravelry, and you can find me as Undead Yarn on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. The Facebook page it's up and I don't really use it very much, but I would appreciate if y'all would go over and like it. That way I'll hopefully get more traffic. I don't know. I haven't really used it very much, but it is up there. So anyway, let's get started. Before we get started completely, I wanted to remind y'all that there is a incentive for y'all to go and subscribe on YouTube. And this is the Fishnets colorway from SSK last year, and it's called At Sixes and Sevens, and I believe it has 8 stripes. It's very beautiful, lots of colors. Once we get up to 1,000 subscribers, which might take a few months, we'll see. People are slowly trickling over from iTunes. I know I have more viewers because I had a lot of viewers on iTunes, but I'm hoping y'all will transfer over. I actually find YouTube easier in all ways. Number one, you get to upload a higher quality video. Number two, it's free, which is great. Number three, you don't have to download and take up space on your phone. What you can do is just subscribe to channels, and then you can stream it whenever you have a chance. Or I usually watch them on my computer, but I can also stream them on my phone. And that keeps you from having to download stuff and take up a lot of space on your phone. So anyway, from now on, everything's going to be on YouTube. And I did want to have a shout out to the ladies from, oh gosh, what is the name of the podcast? I can't remember right now. Penhook Needles and another podcast, Never Cast Off, has tagged me with some questions, and I never answered them. And I think what I'm going to do is answer those in the 100th episode. I think that'll be a nice touch for something to do during that episode. So if you want to know more about me personally, you can tune in on the 100th episode and find out. I will be answering those. I think it's like 20 questions, and it's about you as a person. So anyway, let's go ahead and I will start showing you what I'm working on. Right now, I'm only working on one whip that I'm ready to talk about right now, because the other one I just started it, and I'm not very far along. So anyway, this is part of my Shorty Socks, the Shorty Socks knit along that's for the year. This is the first one in my Luna colorway. It's a Rose City roller, and I didn't write down the name of the person who did the pattern, but y'all know that it's everywhere. And look what happened. I made a mistake on the second one, and I thought that I had 64 stitches, but I did not. I actually had, I think, about 72. And so look, it came out differently. It's like spiraling, kind of. So these kind of striped. It wasn't on purpose. It's just the way the yarn is when you knit it up. And then these are not. So anyway, and this is on my new base. That's an 80/20 merino nylon. So the other thing is I have 2 FOs. I don't have any spinning this week, but I'm wearing one of them. I finally blocked my Jodie Shawl. That is by Hohi Locatelli. And I used a new yarn bases on this one. The brown that you see is a yak base, and the white is a cashmere nylon merino base. And I don't think I'm going to carry the yak one. I might. Probably not, though. That's a lot of people are carrying it right now, so there are a lot of other people dyeing it. And then I believe I'm going to stick with the Karen, with the other one, this one. I really like this cashmere base. It's got less yardage than the one I used to carry, but it's softer and more squishy. And they're both colors are the Abominable Snowman, which was one of my winter colorways, one of my colorways for Christmas, you know, the Abominable Snowman from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So I'm very happy with this. When I blocked it, it grew quite a bit. So as you can see, it's a pretty pretty hefty shawl. It's interesting because when you hold it up, it looks symmetrical, but it's not. And I don't know if you can tell from here, but my husband noticed it wasn't symmetrical. He said, that's not, I said, well, it's an asymmetrical shawl. But you can't really tell when you hold it up, but you can tell when you put it on. And it was a lot of fun to knit, and made use of 2 colors, which is always fun. So that is my Jodie shawl, and I still have to, you can see I have not woven on the ends, but it is blocked and ready to wear. And I'll probably wear that on the Hill Country Weavers Retreat, which is coming up in March. So, next FO, I knitted a blanket, and it's called the Major Blanket Knitting Pattern. It says it's by a Little Knitty, and it's basically like that big granny square dishcloth, but it's with bulky yarn, and I used Caron Black Magic, and I wish I used 4 and a little bit of balls of yarn, and I wish I had used all of it because I have a few skeins left, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them now because they're not that big. But here it is. I used 3 different colorways. You can see in the middle I did 1 colorway, and then on the ends I was planning to just do 1 colorway, but I ran out, so I had to pick up one of the other ones, which I think it blends in well. Not that way, this way. You can see on the end there that there's a different color over here. So anyway, my dog loves it. I made it for my little dog Bella. I'm always making blankets that are really small for my Chihuahua, so I thought, okay, well, it's time for me to make a blanket for her. So I will keep that upstairs, and she slept on it last night. It was cute. So those are my FOs, and I don't have any spinning. I've been frantically starting to dye and planning for dyeing for DFW Fiberfest, which is coming up in April. And I do have some things to show you. Weeks in review, I don't really have a lot to tell y'all because after Christmas, I went back to work, and then I got sick, and I was sick for like 2 weeks. I was sick, my husband was sick, and my Chihuahua got pneumonia. So like everybody was just sick, and we didn't really do a lot during that time except watch a lot of TV and stuff, and I caught up with a bunch of movies and things on Shudder. I really like the series that they're putting out on Shudder. If you like horror, the series are actually really good. I watched one, and I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Lord Scott, something like that. It's Norwegian, and it's really different. It's has to do with plants and the earth and everything, but it's connected to people, and I won't go into too much more of that because I don't want to spoil things, but that's really interesting. And then I watched another one called The Fades, which was really amazing. And I think those are the 2 main ones that I've been watching. And I also watched The Dark, which was on Netflix, and all 3 of those series were really good. So I really am very happy with my Shudder membership. If you're considering buying Shudder, I would go ahead and do it. I think I paid $50 for the whole year, which is cheaper than getting Amazon Prime. So it's totally worth it. And they have a lot of really good movies. And they also have like old kitschy movies on there too. So I'm really enjoying it. Anyway, that's about all I've done in the last few weeks is go to work, get sick, stay home, watch TV, and read. I did read some good books. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I forget what the name of the author was, or I would tell you the one I'm thinking of that I read that was really creepy but interesting. But I can't remember the name of the author right now. So what I did want to do, I do have a couple of things that I wanted to talk to y'all about. I've been started watching a lot of book podcasts because, I love to read. And it's really cool because there's actually horror book podcasts out there, and I'm really enjoying it. I actually found a new author, Adam Cesar, and he does, I think it's called A Black T-Shirt is his podcast. And I read one of his books, and it was actually really good. I enjoyed it. So that was cool. But then I also found another lady, I can't remember her name right now, and she puts out a lot of podcasts. Like, she often has more than one per week. But she did this thing called Trade Away, and I've never seen anybody do this, and I don't know if other book people do it. But I have books that I have doubles of, and I thought it might be fun to see if y'all want to do a trade away. I have 2 crochet books that I have doubles of that I thought would be fun to see if somebody else wanted, because they are good books. I really like both of them. This one is Blueprint Crochet, and it is by Robin Chichula. And she is a pretty fabulous designer. She started out as an engineer, and I think now she's a full-time designer. But she is very visual, so she likes to use charts. I don't want to, I guess I shouldn't show y'all all the charts, but here's one of her patterns. It's an example. And all of her patterns in this book are written in chart form. So there are written directions, but there's also charts, which I think is pretty fabulous because although I'm not always, here's some more patterns. I'm not always the best at reading crochet charts. I have found that if I'm crocheting something and I get confused, because a lot of times for crochet, there's like a paragraph for each line. If I get confused and I'm not sure, I can look on the visual and find out where I should be, and it will explain better where the stitch should be. Because sometimes with crochet, they say it's not a big deal where you put your hook, but if you're really not sure of a direction, I think that it's really nice to have the charts. So this is a Blueprint Crochet, and if you have another book that you think I may not have, please post in the down bar underneath that you would like this book and tell me which book you could trade with me. And I will find somebody, hopefully it'll be first come, first serve person who has a book that I do not have. And we can send a media mail, so that won't cost as much as sending it regular mail. I think books in general are about $3 to send. So, and this is a brand new book. I never used it. This one, I think I got it. Yeah, I got it at Half Price Books, but it looks brand new to me. This is Crochet Masterclass, and the fun thing about this book is that it has a lot of different designers in it. This one has Jenny King, Jennifer Hansen, let's see, some Margaret Hubert, Prudence Mapstone. There's a lot of designers in here that they interview. They do a little interview with them. And this lady does tapestry crochet. Whoops. They do an interview with them, and then there's a pattern that goes along. So let me see. And she even has, for her, she has directions on how to do tapestry crochet, but you can make this beautiful purse. And I know somebody who used to do a lot of tapestry crochet, and it's really sturdy. So I'm thinking if you make a purse with tapestry crochet, you may not even need to line it because it's a lot sturdier than when you knit or crochet a bag. Anyway, this is Crochet Masterclass. If you would like this book and you have a book that you think I might not have, can do a trade. Now, it doesn't have to be a knitting or crochet book. I would like that, but it doesn't have to be a knitting, crochet, or spinning book. It could be a horror book or a horror novel or something. I just ask that it's not from a home that has cats because I'm allergic to cats, and just be in decent condition. I don't really want something that has coffee stains all over it or mold or anything like that. So I have these 2 books, and I also have a magazine. So if you wanted to trade magazines, now these can't go media mail, but magazines aren't very heavy, so it's not going to cost a lot to ship. It probably costs like $2, I think. And this one I have doubles of because I bought this one before Christmas, and then my mother-in-law bought me a subscription, and I already have this one, so I have doubles of this. So if you have a crochet or knitting or spinning magazine that you think I might not have and you'd like to trade with me, post it down underneath. And like I said, it'll be first come, first serve person who has something I don't have that I'd like to trade. So I have those 3 things to trade. And I'm going to try to do that from time to time. If when I finish reading a book, I might just do it with other books too. I think that would be a lot of fun. I love that idea. I think I usually just end up giving books away. If I don't want to keep it, I give it away to Goodwill. But I would love to be able to trade because I used to do Book Mooch, and Book Mooch is no longer around. Well, it's around, but they charge you now. Before, it used to be you just had to pay the cost of mailing, and all those book paperback swap, book mooch, you have to pay extra money now. So I'm like, well, I might as well just give the book away or go get it at Goodwill or whatever. So anyway, that's my new idea, trade away. I'm going to do that from time to time. We are doing the Shorty Socks year of Shorty Socks. So I have a thread open. I only had 2 entries for this month. So if you knit, it doesn't have to be Shorty Socks. It can be regular socks. But that is my thought, is Shorty Socks, because they don't take so long. And like I said, I don't care if it's for adults or kids or whatever, just as long as it's something that covers your foot. So a yoga sock doesn't really count. But something that covers your foot, you can do slippers if you'd like to. That's another option. But if you finish socks, and I know people are knitting socks because you're knitting socks for all these other people too. So you can post them in my group. I don't mind if you double or triple dip. This was the prize for this month. It's a little Notions pouch by Twisted Fiber Arts, or no, Twisted, not Twisted, Tempted Yarns. And then I have this spindle that has a big whirl and a small whirl, and it's made by Daisy Knits. She has them custom made on a 3D printer. And the winner of that is Lemcall, who is Linda from Pennsylvania. And so Linda, if you send me your address, I will send this out to you. And let me go ahead and show you the prize for next month. The prize for next month is a skein of Marigold Jen. And I will tell you, Marigold Jen is a really sweet person. She's a lot of fun, and she's a nice lady. And so I met her and her husband at the ZK. So here it is, Marigold Jen. And this color is called Larkspur. I know a lot of you are really into purple and green. It's a beautiful purple and green mix. Somebody will love this. This is 75 BFL, 25% nylon, 464 yards. It's got a lot of yardage. And it's superwash. So this is the prize for February. So go ahead and post your socks that you finish in February. I don't care when you started them, but if you finish a pair of Shorty Socks or any kind of sock or slipper in the month of February, go ahead and post it, and you will have a chance to win this skein of Marigold Jen. So that is podcast. Oh, and I also need to tell you that, oh, I wish I had brought my phone down. I don't have my phone with me right now, unfortunately. Maybe I'll show them the next time. But my friend Deborah, who is MSC Theater on Ravelry, she also knit some socks with my Luna colorway. And she posted them in the FO thread. She knit the zigzagular socks, and I believe those are by Sarah Shu. And she is the winner of the $7 or less pattern. So I will ear burn you, but PM me and let me know what $7 or less pattern you want, Deborah. And I also wanted to tell y'all, not that some of y'all have come, but my Whole Foods group's kind of dwindled, and I have friends who meet at IKEA the last Saturday of every month from 9 to 3. So I'm going to cancel my Domain Whole Foods meetup, but I will be going to the IKEA one that is at the end of the month. It's a pretty big group. It's the IKEA in Round Rock. If you live in Austin, you're welcome to come. We'd love to have you. Very friendly people. They're there from 9 to 3. I usually go in the morning. I think it's 9:30 actually, because I don't think IKEA opens until 9:30, but it's from like opening until I think 3 or 3:30. I'm not sure which, but you can come and go. People come and go. And if you want to eat, you can eat. We're going to be in the dining room. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that. I also want to mention that Penhook and Needles is having a Tea and Tails year-long knit-along. And I believe that you need to knit something that is either tea-related or tails-related. So you could knit something that has the name of a kind of tea, or a pattern that is related to tea, or I think you could also do something that's related to a book or a book. I don't think they're taking movies. I think it has to be a book. But yeah, yeah, go ahead and post it over there. They are wonderful ladies, and take a watch of their podcast if you haven't seen it before. Take a watch. Yeah, I can speak. Anyway, go watch them. They're really sweet, wonderful people. I wanted to show y'all that I have been dyeing, and I have some new colorways. I have been a big fan of Supernatural ever since it first started. And the really interesting, cool thing is that in the last few years, both the stars have moved to Austin. Jensen Ackles lives in Austin, and so does Jared Padalecki. And if you don't know their names, is Sam and Dean, who are in the show. And Jensen Ackles had been on the side. I guess he'd been working on trying to make homemade beer. You know, a lot of people do that now. And he ended up hooking up with the guy who did Do 512 beers in Austin. And he actually came up with my favorite craft brew beer, which was Do 512 Porter. The whole reason I'm talking about that is that Jensen Ackles has opened a new brewery in Austin. And actually, it's not in Austin. It's right outside of Austin in Dripping Springs. And they called it the Family Business Beer Company. And if you watch Supernatural, you know that's like a throwback, or it's what they call what they do as hunters in Supernatural. It's called the Family Business. So being such a big fan and having them open their beer brewery here, and I love craft beers too, I thought I would dye up some colors that are inspired by that. And I decided I would do a collection, mini skein collection, since I haven't done a new mini skein collection in a while. And they're all based on either based on the color of the beer, or they're based on their inspiration for the beer. And the first one I came up with is Hamilton. And you can tell it's a beautiful blue-green. And this is based on Hamilton Pool, which is actually where the brewery is located, near Hamilton Pool on the same road. And it's a beautiful place to go swimming. It's a natural swimming hole. And so I went with the greens and blues. It reminded me of the area. And then one of their beers is called Hamilton. And then another one is called Grackle, which was funny. Jensen Ackles said it's like a play on his name and the brewer from Do 512, but it's also the name of like the bird that is everywhere in Austin. It's kind of like the crow of Austin. It's a grackle. And so here's Grackle. And as you can see, it has like the blue, the purple, and black colors that are in the Grackle. And then another one I named Ghost after their Ghost White IPA. And this one is a pale yellow, and it's based on the color of the actual beer. And then I have one called Hall & Oates, and this is also based on the color of the beer that's called Hall & Oates. And it's HAULIN apostrophe Oates, not like the band. But I think that's kind of a cute play on words there. So these are the 4 that are in the mini skein collection. It's going to be $20 for the mini skeins. And then I also dyed a companion skein that I don't think I'm going to put in the collection because it's not the beer collection. Oh, and it's called the Family Business Collection. And this is based on, if you watch Supernatural, you know at the beginning they have this screen that they throw out and there's fire and explosions. And this is based on that. This one's called Supernatural. And it's got colors that are based on, let me re-roll it. Colors that are based on the beginning sequence that you see. And I'm really happy with that. This one is done on a DK weight. I will probably do it also on fingering, but I did this first one on DK. So those are some new colorways, and I do have another new colorway that I don't want to show until I've knit it up because I think you'll understand it better than if I show it to you. I can show it to you, but I don't think you'll understand what it's going to look like until I actually knit it up. So that's my new yarn that's coming out. I think that is everything that I needed to talk about. Look for my 100th episode, which will be coming up in a couple of months. And if I find some more books, I will show you those. Oh, I also forgot, I have a big box of yarn over here that I'm doing a destash with. Let me show you some of the highlights of the destash. I'm sure somebody would love this. This is Sanguine Griffin. I have not put them up yet. I have to take pictures. But this is Sanguine Griffin, and I am putting, this is called Gardenia Hawk Bee. And this is one that I will be putting up for destash. I have a bunch of yarn that I just have not knit with, and I don't think I'm going to knit with it anytime soon. Here's some Rowan with a little extra, and I actually have a pattern that goes with that. It's called Eddie's Dream Hat. So I will give you this with the pattern if you want this. This also is a kit that I had that I'm not probably going to knit. And it came with a pattern for slippers, and they're colorwork slippers. They're really pretty, but I just don't think I'm ever going to get to it. And actually, these would be good for the Shorty Socks. I don't want to show you everything because I don't want to take up all your time while you're sitting there, but I also have a skein of art yarn. It's a 50-gram skein. And let's see the colorway. The color is number 166. So creative. Anyway, oh, and I also have this really unusual yarn that I thought I was going to end up doing the pattern. I just never did, and I just don't think I'm going to get to it. If I can locate the pattern, I will throw it in with this. This is called Yashi. It's universal yarn, and it is made of raffia. I am not sure what raffia is, but it's pretty sturdy. And it came with a crochet bag pattern, and it actually was, I held the bag because I had the sample done, and it is definitely sturdy. So if you are looking for something to crochet and you want a bag, I have 3 of these, and I will try to find the pattern. I think I have the pattern available to go with it too. And then one more thing I'll show you because it's another thing people might like. And I did this club with the Unique Sheep a couple years ago, and I thought I would be more excited about the colors that came with it. I just don't think I'm going to knit with this. It is a gradient, because you know how they do, that's their thing. They basically do gradients, and it's like a gray and purple gradient, and it's called Magic Beans. So this one will also be up, and I can't remember. I did have another one that was a coffee color. I think that one's been sold, but I'm not sure. So those are some of the highlights of the stuff I'm going to put up for destash, and I will put that up on Ravelry. So I'm really happy right now. Things are going well, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of y'all in Dallas, Fort Worth, and also looking forward to seeing everybody at the Hill Country Weavers Retreat. And with that, I think I'm going to say, get busy knitting or get busy dying.